Let's talk a little bit about the Kohanga Reo story, which ran a week later than the team seemed to want it to run. What was happening there? Were you involved in any editorial decision around that?
Well, look, I'll tell you what, in any media organisation, as you well know, in this particular organisation that we're interviewing in, you have an editor-in-chief. His name is Kevin Kenrick. He's the CEO of Television New Zealand. And it's like that across the country, is that you always have a chain of command. Now, the top of that chain happens to be the editor-in-chief, who takes prime responsibility for the editorial. Now, the only time that an editor-in-chief will come into play is if there is material or editorial that may affect the reputation of the media organisation.
So you're saying it's appropriate for you to be involved in editorial decisions? In
very rare decisions. Most of the day-to-day operation of news and current affairs is left to the teams. I don't want to have any play or say in any of it.
But the allegations that you've been involved in editorial decisions on your news and current affairs programmes...
Again, the allegation is politically motivated, absolutely. The only time...
Is it politically motivated, or is it just the truth? The truth is that you are involved in editorial decisions on your news and current affairs.
Well, I am, like any editor-in-chief, but, you know, it will only come into play. My view on an editorial will only come into play on very rare occasions.
And on this occasion it did? You held that Kohanga Reo story off?
Well, it was a joint decision made by myself and other executives at the company that we felt that the story needed to be more balanced, and that's the reason why we held it off for a week.
Balanced in what way?
Well, we think that what was primarily important is the kaupapa of Kohanga. That's the important thing.
Because what that leads to is the notion that you're protecting the Māori establishment.
The most important thing that came out of that interview came from Rawiri Wright, who said that only 20% of our tamariki are enrolled in Kohanga and only 3% of them go on to kura. Okay. That was the most important thing that came out of that.
In your view, as you say, as the editor-in-chief?
That's the kaupapa.
But your journalists need to be able to tell the story as they see it from their point of view.
Yeah, they did.
OK, so you feel comfortable that it's OK for you to come in and make editorial decisions on your news and current affairs product?
It's not OK, Miriama, it's actually part of my job.
But it leads to this notion that you are protecting the Māori establishment, this is what's come out, and that we can't hold figures to account
who
are high-powered figures in Māoridom.
Is this another example?
Well, you don't need that explained. You know that accusation is
another example of rumour and gossip.
But you know that is the allegation that's out there. Well, that Māori TV, well, namely you, are protecting the Māori establishment.
It's nonsense. Everybody that knows me always knows that I have always challenged the establishment. I'm an anti-establishment figure. I mean, I was protesting back in the 80s and the 70s. I was on the streets collecting signatures for a Māori television channel
let's talk about where you want to take. Let's talk about where you want to take Māori
let's deal
TV.
with this notion that you've put to me on a number of occasions, is that somehow I'm protecting the establishment. I don't think it's true.
OK, thank you for that. Where are you taking Māori TV? What's the big picture?
The big picture is that we remain committed to our kaupapa of the protection and promotion of te reo and tikanga. So Māori language and culture, they remain prime kaupapa in our view. And so we've got a number of strategic pillars that will inform that particular strategy around our people. Our people are really important. Our communications and our brand is important in terms of the legacy of Māori television. Our content strategy is incredibly essential in terms of engaging with more New Zealanders around the kaupapa.
And where will this come from? Is it going to be Rotorua?
You know,
will the operation move?
Well, you know, the board are still considering all of the options on the table in terms of whether we lease, whether we purchase, whether we're sited in Auckland still, where there's a large Māori population, or whether we move to more of a Māori community and maybe in Hamilton or Rotorua. So all of those options are still live on the table.
When will we know the answer to that?
What we're looking for, Miriama, is the board will move to make a decision in August. But, you know, I'm glad that they're taking their time, because this is a very important decision. You know, this is where Māori television is going to be for the next 20, 50 years.
Okay,
so it's important that we get that decision right. One thing I would like to point out, though, Miriama, is that, you know, over the last 12 years, we've spent $20 million on rent where we are.
So, so what you're saying is you need to move. You need to make another decision. And unfortunately, we do need to leave it there. But I thank you very much for coming in this morning.